Hello, everybody. I'm Jean Ketchum, founder of Aging But Dangerous, and I am so excited because I get to interview all these wonderful people, and I have somebody with me today that is so special, and I cannot wait to talk to her. And her name is Erica Campbell, and she is she is executive director of an organization called Pinky Swear. Oh, Erica. I'm so excited. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Jean. This is a true honor to be with you, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Well, thank you. Me too. I said, it's just like sitting down at the cup of coffee, with the good friend. So,
Absolutely.
well, the pinky swear, I had a really kind of hard time, digesting that at first. And I thought, what does that mean? What is that? And then, oh my gosh, Erica, it's such a darling name. So I want you to tell us about it. I want you to tell about the name and how it got started and all that, because it's such a special story.
Absolutely. So nearly 20 years ago, there was a boy here in Minnesota who was diagnosed with a terminal bone cancer. And he was in the hospital one night with his friends with his dad. And they overheard the family next door to them in the hospital sort of discussing that they couldn't afford Christmas presents. And that broke Mitch's heart. And so he said to his dad, "Dad, do I have, what kind of money do I have in my bank?" And his dad said, "Well, you have $6,000. Mitch said, "Can I do anything what I want with it?" His dad said, "Sure." So that night, they actually went to the bank, withdrew the $6,000, and then divided it up amongst 10 families, put $600 in envelopes, and anonymously delivered that money.
Oh my God, anonymously.
Anonymously.
Wow.
Yes. And, especially to the family that couldn't afford Christmas presents. And so they slid it under the door. And then they raced back to the elevator because, they didn't want to be seen. This was a really fun thing to do anonymously. And as the doors closed, Mitch looked to his dad and said, "Dad, that was so fun. I loved giving. Let's do it again next year." And his dad then said to him, they knew what this prognosis was. He said, "Buddy, I don't think you're going to be here next year."
Wow.
As a parent, I can't even imagine saying that to my child. So here's the story that Mitch paused, looked up to his dad and said, "Okay, make me a pinky swear promise that you will continue to do this after I'm gone." And that is how we got the name Pinky Swear Foundation.
Oh my gosh, Erica. That's really something, isn't it? And for the father to tell him that, it would be hard to do, but that, being honest with that little boy.
I mean, that to me, I have two children around Mitch's age, to be honest. And it's so powerful to think of the authenticity and the relationship between the two kids. But I will tell you that Mitch's dad is still involved. And he still says, "Erica, are you holding up that pinky swear promise?" Because, that is how important it is to him, nearly 20 years later.
Yeah.
And so now we do what Mitch did. I feel like I have Mitch's old job, right? Yeah. We give away funds to help families with a child battling cancer. We kind of, we're giving away sometimes more than $600. We're paying for mortgages, rent, car payments, gas, groceries to make sure that families have healthy food. And it's just a joy because it is continuing what Mitch started, but it's also allowing the family to focus on what's most important, which is their kid, right? I don't want them worrying about, did we pay the mortgage? I only have one income. What about my other siblings? What about daycare? I want them to focus on that child. And time again, parents have said, that's the gift you gave us, was more time, less stress, and the ability to focus on my kid. And who doesn't want more time when time is limited?
Well, Erica, do you ever have to turn anybody down? I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. Because our average gift is about $750. So yes. Although I will say this year, COVID hit these families harder.
Yeah.
And many people stepped up to the plate and wanted to make that direct impact because you can make this direct impact. So we gave out over $1 million in direct support, cash to families, a lot. But that was probably only 94% of the families that asked me. So I think about that 6% where I had to say no.
Oh,
That, I'll be honest, that's what keeps me up at night. That's
I
what
was gonna
drives
say,
me.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's hard because I think of a mom. What mom isn't so busy right now? They have to get on my website, make an application, ask for help, and then for us to have to say, I'm so sorry, we're out of funds. And that's just,
Oh,
that's yeah. That's why I'm working like mad.
yeah.
So,
Well, Erica, how did you get involved in it? I mean, how did you hear about it and how did you get involved?
so I have had this long history volunteering and helping kids with cancer. When I was 22, I had
Oh,
a I had a terrible job that wasn't a right fit for me. Who hasn't been in that situation? And my mom, she said to me, you need to start volunteering. So I became a summer camp counselor, a sleepaway summer camp counselor for kids with cancer.
oh, wow.
Man, if my mom wasn't right, because the best way to, bury your own problems is to help someone out of theirs. And those kids changed me. Speaking of aging, they had to grow up so much faster than other kids their age. And I just witnessed such maturity. I learned so much and it changed me. And I said, at 22, I'm going to dedicate my life to helping these kids. And someday I want to lead an organization that does that.
Oh my
So,
gosh. I just got chills, Erica, just
yeah.
chills. I mean, for you at 22 to realize that, number one, and then, you had the opportunity. I mean, so what happened then? I mean, how'd you work towards this?
Oh yeah. So, I had a job in accounting and finance and HR, and all good things, but never my life calling, never this higher purpose. I decided at 22. During that time, sorry, I'm getting emotional. My mom got diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh dear.
And, she relapsed 4 times. And every time she would say to me, Erica, this is bad. This is really bad. But at least it's not the kids that you work with. And she was so proud of what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And when she passed away, I was there holding her hand. And that changes a person, Jean,
Mm-hmm.
it does. I'm sure many people have had similar experiences. And at that point I said, okay, life's too short. It's time to fulfill my dream.
But okay, so you weren't doing this when she got cancer?
No, I was still just volunteering.
Okay.
So I was 29 when she died.
Oh dear.
She was 57 and I was 29. I hadn't even met my husband yet. I didn't have children, obviously. But that something changed in me.
Yeah.
Something changed. Like, career is important, but there's more to it. And so I started heading towards that goal. I got on a board of directors of an organization helping kids with cancer. I started networking. And I actually was about to become the director of that summer camp. But then 2 things happened. My husband relocated us to Minnesota. You can't do that remotely. You can't do a summer camp remotely. And I was diagnosed at 39 with breast cancer myself.
Oh shoot.
So this is a journey that's like all sorts of wiggly and crazy, right? I feel like it was like God tapping me on the shoulder saying, there's something here.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I joke, they
That
caught it early.
That was how many years ago?
That was about 7 years ago.
Wow.
So now, I had a double mastectomy. You can't see them, but I have some new boobs. They're good. Great. Those were dark times though. They're real dark times. So when I found out about this pinky swear job, Jean, you can believe that I thought it was divine intervention. And I did everything in my power to convince the board that I was the right candidate. I had the passion, I had now the background, but more importantly, such a personal story that fuels me every day. And to be honest, all I want to do is make those kids proud. I want to make my mom proud. And I just want to say yes to every kid, every family, as a mom now myself.
Wow, that is some kind of story, Erica.
Yeah,
I had no idea. That is really something. Well, gosh, I'm so glad you're sharing this with us. Okay, so your vision is what? What's your vision?
My vision is to always say yes to every family that asks for help. It's real simple. You know, I've got to close that gap, right? That 6% I talked about, you know, we saw our numbers increase because of COVID, right? That's okay. I still want to say yes to everybody. That's again what fuels me every day.
What, you know, like when you get to the end like that of your funds, I mean, you know, we're in Minnesota, where we have all these, you know, Fortune 500 companies, and everything. I mean, are you lining up a few of these companies that you could pick up the phone and say, hey, I need, you know, like $3,000 more or something? I mean, can that happen?
It could happen. You know, at the end of last year, I did have 2 family foundations come forward and say, we want to help, right? And so that got us from probably, you know, got us up to that 94%. So yeah, I'm pounding pavement. I am networking as hard as I can. I'm learning to ask for help, and I'm telling family stories. You know, I think of there's a family we're helping right now, and the mom just graduated from veterinary school, and her dad, you know, they had a great job and they had a new baby, 18 months old, and their life changed in a dime because their baby was diagnosed with cancer, right? So she decided not to start her veterinary career, right? They were about to go to double incomes and, very, great career. Then her husband lost a job to COVID. So overnight, their child was diagnosed with cancer and they both were unemployed.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And so, and by no fault of their own.
Right.
And, you know, it's a 2, you know, even in successful cancer treatments, it's a 2 to 3 year journey for a family. And most of us, I know me, I only have 3 to 6 months of savings.
Yeah.
Right. So like the numbers just start to get wonky real quick. So like, that's the story I want to tell the people. And I am trying to find companies and, you know, foundations and donors that want to help us do that. I think what they like is the direct impact, right? You can see where, you know, we're paying a mortgage, right?
Right. And, you know, you and I just had a brief conversation the other day when we met. And I was telling you, as grandparents, you know, aging but dangerous, you know, the women that all of us that are grandparents, oh my gosh, Erica, if one of our grandchildren got cancer, we would be all over this. And still, even if that didn't happen, I just think there's so many of us that we just want to give to something like this because it's just such an important cause. Now, do you, when people sign up to give, I know I give to the Sisters of St. Joseph, and that's just taken out of my bank account every month. Do you do that type of thing with people?
Yes, we do. Okay. It's called our Pinky Partners program. Okay. Because a child is actually diagnosed every 45 minutes.
Really?
So, yeah. So in this call, somebody will hear the news, your child has cancer or your grandchild has cancer. Yeah. So yes, we have recurring giving. You know, even $20 a month makes a difference for us.
I know. That's what the sisters said. You know, they said, you know, their average was, $25 a month. I mean, everybody thinks you have to give this big amount, but you can do something small and then it just keeps building. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we talked about that. Well, what about this PAC program? I saw that on your website.
Yes, it's a brand new program. And if any of you have grandkids, it's a college ambassador program. So we have college kids all over the country now who are supporting our mission. They are interacting with the kids with cancer we help. We're actually designing virtual experiences, you know, so a college kid can maybe mentor a 13-year-old with cancer, and we're connecting those kids. They're also on campus spreading our message. They're telling stories. They're doing some fundraising, and they're just really, they're learning about the joy of giving, and they're learning about leadership because they're doing a lot of things that most college kids don't get the opportunity to do. So if anybody has a grandchild or a child that would be interested and it's in college, have them see if they have a PAC program there.
Okay, but now so this is in different colleges.
Yep.
And you have to go through the one that has it in their college.
Yeah, or someone could start it at their college. There's so the reason we got this, Jean, so that's not a long story, but for any of you familiar with Love Your Melon as the brand, they sell hats. This was a program they started before, for years. And then they transitioned it to us this year because of COVID and things like that. So They normally went into hospitals with college kids. They wanted us to do it virtually. So we have 170 campuses involved already.
Really? Oh my gosh, Erica, that is just amazing.
It's brand new. So we're still, kind of like, oh my gosh. But these college students are spectacular. I want to hire all of them. They're so smart and they're so dedicated and they're just, it's like a mini sorority or fraternity kind of thing.
Do you ever think about even getting the high schoolers? I mean, I just, my little 16-year-old granddaughter, my gosh, she is so giving. I think she'd love to do something like this. I mean, how would you ever start that? Is that something that later on maybe you might think about doing?
This is a miracle. I actually do have we just started a high school program too. So I'm gonna follow up with you and get your granddaughter involved. It's called our Youth Leadership Council. And essentially they're doing the same thing, but at the high school level. And so we're just getting that one off the ground because we saw such interest at the college level. And let me tell you, some of these high school students are mind blowing. Like just, I love it when I see a light bulb go off about giving. For those high schoolers, we've had them in COVID have talks each month, learning about leadership, but also hearing from a child who beat cancer and talking about adversity and how to overcome challenges, how to set goals, some really moving stuff. My daughter is doing it. She's a little young, but
How old is she?
She's 10. So she's younger, but she just sort of sits in and watches it with me. And it sinks in, even at age 10. I mean, she's not the high school level, but those high schoolers really get it. And it's great to plant those seeds now.
Yes, it is. It is good, Erica. And then they, because they get that whole concept and it makes them really think.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, this is just so exciting. Well, I can't wait to tell her. We will talk, after.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to get your granddaughter involved.
Yeah. And my daughter loves, stuff like this. She was, she just is such a giver. So, I mean, that is pretty exciting. Okay. So those are your volunteers. I know it said, heading was volunteers. So that's how you're getting volunteers.
And we also have opportunities for adults too. In COVID, we have a program now that I just love. It is writing letters of encouragement to our kids with cancer. So, right now everything's through the mail, right? So we're having people like you and your audience just write any kind of card that's creative, right? I'll send you some pictures and you can mail them into our offices. And then we put them in all of the envelopes that we're mailing out to the family. So when we send them a check to pay for their rent, or when we're giving them, gift cards for a grocery store, we include these letters of encouragement. Families have loved it. There's like a resurgence of the mail, right? Everything's digital. And so having a physical card has been just a delight. And we get lots of photos back. Kids really just enjoy it because they're just words of encouragement. They're words of joy, hope, and the creativity has been really fun to see.
Wow. Well, I'm telling you, I'm so impressed. I had no idea. I mean, this is like, you are amazing. You are just amazing. And it looks like you have, when you're wet, now give everybody your website.
Absolutely. It's www.pinkyswear.org.
Yeah.
O-R-G.
Yeah, that's important.
O-R-G.
.org. Yeah. But I went on your website. You have a really good website, and it looks like you have a lot of staff, quite a few people working with you.
I have a staff of 14 now, and we serve families nationwide. So if anybody watching this knows of a family who needs help, immediately go to our website. The top right corner, it says apply for help or apply for support. But we serve families nationwide. And to be honest, the reason is, turns out childhood cancer and any cancers do not know a zip code.
Right.
And a lot of people are going in different places for treatment. One family we're working with is flying to Durham to Duke University, where it's their #1 pediatric brain tumor facility. And so, we're helping them with their transportation to and from Duke. So anyway, we've served families nationwide. And so we are, as we talked about, we got a lot of ways that people can help, what ways people can get involved. volunteer.
Mhm.
Again, I'm really excited about the future generation of high schoolers and college students.
So will that get on your website? Because I didn't see that. You'll put it on
Yes,
your
yes.
website
Yep.
about,
These are like new programs. They should be
okay.
up any day. I think, or it might be under get involved.
Oh, okay. I don't think I looked at that. Yeah, that
Yep.
could be. Huh. So this is your whole way that you're expanding. You're,
Yep.
like all the
Yep.
ways that you've told us.
Yeah. Well, we also have, we got so many things going on. I had a big donor come forward last year and say, Eric, I believe in your mission. You helped. This is so funny, not funny, but amazing. He said, you helped my best friend 5 years ago when their son died from a brain tumor.
Huh.
And I had another friend who came into your offices for a visit and saw that you had that photo of my best friend's son hanging on your wall in your hallway.
Wow.
I had no idea, Jean. And he said, so I want to make sure that you can always say yes to families. So I'm going to he made a $2 million gift.
Oh my gosh.
He'd never made a gift before, but it's because we had cared so deeply and taken care of and remembered his best friend's son. And he said, I want to help you build an endowment. And, I don't even know what an endowment is. You never touch that 2 million, but you take the interest and dividends off of that.
Mhm.
And then I can always direct that to families.
Yeah.
And that's forever, perpetuity, legacy building. He said, I want to build a legacy for Cal. His name was Super Cal because he loves superheroes.
Mhm.
And so we're kicking off a campaign, which was hard to do in COVID, to build that. This gentleman has a vision, and it's going to help us, but to build that endowment. So, legacy building is another aspect. Lots of gifts that come in honor of kids that have been loved and lost, in memory of people who've had a cancer battle. And, I've included pinky swear when I go someday, part of my money is going to go into this endowment. It's just, it's about building legacy, and, I'm going to do that in honor of my mom. So.
Well, that's really,
exciting.
I tell you, this is really touching, and I just will do whatever we can to get the word out there, because I think it's just like Aging but Dangerous. It's like one of the hardest things about building a business, no matter what it is getting the word out there.
Yes.
And
Yes.
people don't know about you, and they have to know about you. And how do you get the name out there? And it's like, boy, so that's tough, but we will do whatever we can to help you. That it's there's no age to this. It can be grandparents, it can be something that you care about. Like you said, your mother, she wasn't a child, but she still got cancer and died. And this is just such a good cause and of course it makes it doubly sensitive because it is children, but it's still, even if it wasn't just for children, it's still such a good cause.
Thank you so much, Jean. It is, like I said, it's my life passion. It's my life calling.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And I am trying to get the word out. So I'm loving this Aging but Dangerous, and the next stop is like the Today Show, right?
Yeah, right. I know it. Well, we are going to love having you get aboard with us. So we'll get the word out, Erica. We'll get that word out, and then there'll be a lot of people watching this, this Zoom call. So that's great. Well, I can't tell you how much I have enjoyed this, and I knew I would, because you and I talked just for a few minutes. And I love your top. Oh my gosh.
I was telling, I'm a big fan of animal print and glitter. So I'm just going to own it these days.
Yeah, there you go. And you said you did it for me, right?
I did. When we first talked, I was wearing a different leopard print shirt and you were wearing a zebra print shirt. And I was it's a match made in heaven. I love it.
Isn't that funny? Oh my gosh. Well, you are a doll, and thank you for giving us this time, and we will just do whatever we can do to help you out. So
thank you, Jean. Thank you, everyone.
Well, you are just, I just can't tell you. It's
I'm sending you like virtual hugs here.
I know, me too. And a kiss on the cheek. I always kiss on the cheek. So, all right.
I can't wait till we can get together in person, Jean. Thank you so much.
Me too. All right. Well, you have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.